double checking, making sure we're on all the platforms. Got things going. Let's see, dashboard showing that we're good on some of the stuff. We'll figure out as people are starting to pop in. If you got this, make sure you say hey in the chat. We're going to get started here in a little bit. With it being really the first episode back, I've got some technical difficulties. I got this crazy echo kicking on my end. I don't know if it's on your end or not, but we're going to figure it out. Let's check this out. And for some reason, things are wanting to go a little crazy and slow. That's always fun. Try to go live. Everything wants to just go. All right, John, no echo. I like to hear that. I do like to hear that. It's a feedback on my end, which I'm sure is probably MacBook audio. Try my settings. I had some weird thing that I had to do with like brain. What was it? Twitch. When I was on Twitch the other day, it was giving me an issue hearing things. So I did something weird, but then I forgot to write it down, so I don't know what it was. Internal microphone. No, that shows output. What is my output set on? All right. There we go. I think it wasn't the mix minus. Yeah, so it wasn't the mix minus this time. It was, I think it was just the Mac was using it as external for the Rodecaster. Ooh, what I just realized? I got my white balance on auto. Ah, there we better. Much better. Okay. Now, let's see if I can double check other platforms. Wanting to make sure, I do want to get to this, and I'll just let you know that for those of you that are watching, for those of you that are checking this out, here in about 6 minutes or so, maybe sooner, we're going to go straight into like a podcast recording. And then after that, it's Q&A. It's chit chat time. So if you've got any questions, digital ministry regarding vertical video, anything really, let me know and we'll just chat it up and we'll see what's going on. So just want to double check, make sure we're looking good here. Pull up, do a quick little speed test, make sure I'm good there. It could just be my phone that's giving me some issues. Either that or it's the restream dashboard that I'm over here, because I'm trying to stream again, multi-stream through YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, I believe. So we're going to see if I'm on all of the above. And looks like download speeds are okay. And it does look like we're at least live on Twitter. It's looking pretty good. Only about a 10-second delay from what I've got here, so that's pretty good. We'll go to facebook.com, jump over to my face. Yeah, download, I'm doing good. Upload, I'm doing good here. So we're all right. And let's see if I can pull this up on Facebook and see, are we even streaming? We are. We're live on Facebook as well. That's always beneficial. I'm going to share this over to, let's see, more options. Let's see, share via, no, I don't share. Well, I'm trying to figure out why this won't let me share it on my Facebook profile. No, not do a group. All right, we'll try this again. Share. Sure, just copy the link. And then I'll go back over here. Come join me and hang out if you wanna. And we'll post that. I think we should be good. Now, let me just do... Oh, man. What all are we doing? John, you've had issues with Restream before, haven't you? Yes, I have had lots of issues with Restream in the past. I am waiting for Ecamm to bring in the integration. It's not quite there yet. As soon as it does, I'm going to love it. But they don't have the built-in restreaming capability just yet. So if I want to multi-stream, might as well. And for this type of a podcast, because I'm really trying to, you know, kind of give more value to people, I figured it would be a whole lot easier to go where they're at. I don't want to do that with all of my live streams, but this one will work. I know that I've got a pretty good audience over on Twitter and some on Facebook as well, so I might as well do that as well. Hey guys, how you doing? I cannot remember your names, and I just see Belove Inc. Love that you're here so much. Peace be unto you, Pastor Joshua, and everyone. Thank you so much. Is it just cut the quality and the speed? You know, I think Restream is more about just cutting the quality, and I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to figure out all of the encoding for each platform is a little bit different. There's not a unified setting across the board. So they're shifting it a little bit, and I prefer the best quality out there. But, I mean, there's going to be a degradation of quality when you go to Facebook alone. I don't know what Twitter standard is. I'm going to have to check that out at some point. And then with, you know, here on the YouTubes, typically a whole lot better. So... Dennis, I think I am finally getting the mic arm today, and that'll be as cool as you. You are, according to the text message that I got. It should be coming soon, so that's what I like to hear. All right, let me see. There was a couple things that I was trying to pull up here, and I want to make sure that I had these. Yeah, this is the website. I'm going to try to get this at some point. That way I can kind of give you guys a link to one of these articles I'm going to be discussing here in the podcast recording as well. And I'll probably just drop that in the comments of each of these after the fact. So I will get it to you. I've got it pulled up, but it's going to be kind of interesting, and I want you to think about that as we get ready to go in here. Okay, so I think I've got this. We're looking good here. I am going to completely ignore this. I don't know if people are hopping in and chatting on some things. We got a minute to go. Let me see if I can pull up a comment. Looks like everybody's popping in here. Clint, you made it. Good to see you as well. Vaughn, twins in the house. Yes, they are. So that's always amazing to hear. What is up? What is up? Yes, good to see everybody here and in the chat. Let's see. One more thing. I just wanted to test out the restream. Let's see, how do I want to do that? I think I want to go over to my face. Click in here. And then mute that, and it does look like it is kicking in. So, good stuff. Glad to see this. It should be working across all the platforms at this point, so I think we're doing all right. And should just kick over automatically to that. I give you guys a little bit of a heads up. As the weeks go by with this stream, what we're likely going to be doing is I'm going to be adding in some other little features. I'll probably have like a lower thirds or like a little ticker going on. So that way it kind of gives you guys a little bit of an update. But what we're going to be doing is I've got this digital ministry podcast that I started, man, I don't even know how long ago that was, but I started that thing and then stopped. Part of that was 2020. Part of it was me trying to interview people. And I found out that when it comes to conversations like this, I typically had stuff that I wanted to say and I didn't want to talk over people, but that was what I was doing. So I didn't want to do that. Uh-oh. You've got an echo going again? I heard Dustin saying there is an echo kicking. I'm hoping that is not. I didn't even check the YouTube version of it, so if you guys do hear an echo, make sure to let me know. Dustin, were you popping on both on Facebook and on YouTube, saying yo on both of them? Let me see if there is that echo. If anybody's in here, I want to make sure it's not. Let's see, go to my channel. And that's always lovely when my phone doesn't want to actually work. Pull up my channel, drink some coffee. Dustin is saying there is an echo. I wonder if it was my other microphone back there giving me issues. Thank you, YouTube. The YouTube app does not want to work on my phone. It's very difficult to then check. All right. We will try it this way and see if I've got a little something kicking. Thank you, YouTube. The YouTube app does not want to work on my phone. It's very difficult to then check. All right. We will try it this way and see if I've got a little something kicking. Okay, so that's kind of strange. When I'm checking it on my desktop, I don't hear it. Obviously, I hear it in my ears. So I'm trying to figure out, where is this even coming from? Oh, wait, hold on. I see it. Thank you, guys. All right, that should be much better. And I will try this one other scene. This one looks good. This one looks good. You should have it. I apologize. I now realize what I had to do on Twitch the other day to get it to work. I had to pull in dual audio sources. So I had my cam link, and basically it was just recording the audio from the onboard camera as well as this. This should sound much crispier as well. So there we go. I appreciate that. Yeah, Dustin Damesworth doing a great job helping me out on there. John Hayes, in the words of most church sound guys, just keep talking. Absolutely. Beloved, no link there, no echo, and John has my terminology down. That is more better. So proper Southern Iowa English is the way we like it. Hey, here's what I want to do, guys. I want to go ahead and jump straight in to this little podcast recording. We're probably going to have just a little bit. I'm going to be trying to bring a bunch of thoughts and information for you guys. I'm going to try to keep these episodes really short. I'm aiming for, by really short, I mean the audio version, 10 to 15 minutes is kind of where I'm aiming. We'll see how well this goes. This is kind of a test run through, and I figure might as well do it live, right? And then what we will do is we will open things up for Q&A, but this is going to be kind of a live recording. I'm going to drop my Buy Me a Coffee link off of here because it will wind up off. It'll wind up giving notifications if somebody winds up going and buying me coffee while that's up. It's going to pop up and say something, and I think I might have my own voice, and I don't want to interrupt the recording with that. I hope you understand. Anyways, I tried out a new little intro for this thing. How about we roll it and we see what this sounds like? Hey everybody, welcome to the Digital Ministry Podcast. This is going to be episode number, I have no idea because I have taken a little bit of a hiatus, but I am officially back. This is the place where we are having these weekly shows and conversations, and I am aiming to bring you some information and inspiration to help you share that God-given message right here in the digital realm. For those that aren't familiar with who I am, my name is Joshua Verwers. I am a pastor. I am a vlogger. As you can see, if you're watching the live stream, I am a bearded black coffee lover. And really what I want to do is I just want to help give you some of the thoughts and some of the observations that I have accumulated over the last few years navigating both online and offline ministry and how to kind of bridge that gap. So hopefully it will bring you some value. If so, what I want you guys to be able to do is go ahead and share this video if you're watching the video on YouTube, Facebook, or Twitter. And if you are listening to the audio only, please go ahead, give it a like, a review, share it with others. Do all of the things that we tell you we like you to do so it helps share these things out there in, the interwebs. Anyways, today what I want to talk about is why vertical video. Why vertical video should be considered for ministry, why churches should be considering vertical video. And the reason I want to kind of have this conversation is because I have kind of come around on this issue. Years ago, when I started to see vertical video creeping in and I started to see it taking shape, I started to see it being used quite a bit, especially with Instagram was rolling out what they were considering IGTV. I had a little bit of an issue with vertical video. And maybe it's because, we see things in a horizontal path. I mean, our eyes are left and right of each other, not top and bottom of each other. Maybe it's just the way that I see the world is in kind of a horizontal format rather than being in a vertical format. And when I think about just typical vertical fashion, the only real device that I have that would be to view vertical is a smartphone, is my cell phone. I mean, I've got a couple different monitors here. I've got a PC, I've got a Mac, and these are widescreen. I've got televisions inside my house. They are widescreen. I've got a tablet, and while I could hold that in a vertical fashion when I'm watching stuff on it, it's often in a widescreen fashion. And even what we found back there, I think it was 2008 when Instagram was really rolling out the vertical video format, and they were rolling it out with IGTV. They abandoned that really quickly. I mean, it was really quick that they abandoned the vertical only format and they started adopting a horizontal format. I think what they had realized and kind of learned is when it came to a medium and long form content, people weren't wanting to watch it in a vertical fashion. However, short form content, it seems to actually not only take off in a vertical format, but it seems to kind of be the preference for vertical format. And this has been something that I've been playing around with. Obviously, I've seen the trends and I've seen things that are coming in. And even with an app, like a failed app like Quibi, what Quibi wound up doing was they tried to create this auto transition thing. So they would create it in like a vertical, but you could spin and then it would go into a horizontal format. And that was really cool that they had that, but even Quibi kind of struggled with that format. And sure, people will sit there and say, oh no, Quibi, their problem was that they were doing this and putting so much money into the content that they had. And honestly, I beg to differ because I don't want to watch long form content in a vertical fashion unless there is something for me to engage with down below. So let's say this kind of episode, this show that we're doing. I mean, I'm not only doing the audio version, but I'm doing a live stream version, and we've got people here that can hop in the chat. And so there are times that I want to watch it on my smartphone. But what I'll do is YouTube has kind of figured this out, where you can have a wide screen at the top, and then down below, you can be typing and commenting and interacting with it. And then you've got other platforms, say like TikTok. And TikTok only does vertical video, but they're like 15 seconds. I mean, sure, you could get them up to a minute long on TikTok, but the vast majority of them, they fall right in that 15-second range. And with that, you don't really have enough time to then flip it. See, I think that churches should be looking and considering a vertical video format for their ministry. Not just churches. I think every one of us as Christians who are called to the ministry of reconciliation, we're called to share the love of God with people. I think if we're doing that in the digital realm, we need to be able to consider all of the different avenues and the different mediums of how to share that. And I think there are some reasons that we really want to consider using vertical video. I pulled up this article and it's off of Exploding Topics, and they're saying it's 7 video marketing trends to watch in 2021. And I will put a link to this down in the description or the show notes. But one of them that I was really noticing, and here's just one idea, and I think you guys have probably even seen this, is that silent video has been gaining so much momentum. It actually says that it's estimated that 85% of short videos that are viewed on Facebook are watched without sound. Okay, so 85% of the short videos are watched without sound. Now, if you've got a wide screen and you're trying to put that on a device that people are typically holding vertical, which is where your mobile device would be, when you wind up putting in captions on top of there, it actually cuts out so much of the viewing experience. However, if you wind up doing a vertical format video where you have the wide screen that's kind of set inside that, and then your captions below it, well, now all of a sudden you can still read what is being said and see what is being portrayed without losing either one of those. And that's one of the great ways that I think a lot of ministers and ministries could be sharing that message God has put on their heart with a vertical video format. A couple of the other things that they had pointed out in this that I wanted to get down to was how short form video is now dominating. And it's they say aside from TikTok, short form video is also popular on platforms such as YouTube, Snapchat, and Instagram. And this is one of those things that short form video is really taking off. It does say in this article that, Quibi is kind of the elephant in the room when it comes to short form video. But I would say what Quibi was trying to do wasn't short form video. I would venture to say a lot of what you see on YouTube and even a lot of what you're seeing in like the Facebook Watch is not short form video. Even what you're going to see in IGTV isn't what I would consider short form video. I would consider that more of a video or a medium format, a medium length video. For me, when I'm defining short form video, I'm looking at anything that is 60 seconds and less. And that is really the stuff that is dominating. And you're seeing that happen with TikTok. You're seeing TikTok just explode. And it's not just with TikTok because all of a sudden they're doing it, and what happens? Instagram's like, oh, we want to capitalize on this. So what we're going to do is we're going to roll out Instagram Reels. And then you've got YouTube that now says, hey, we're recognizing that there are people that they want to watch this short form, or I guess you could even call it micro form or micro length content. There are people that want to watch that, so YouTube comes out with their YouTube Shorts. And what they're trying to do is reach that segment of the population that wants to consume content, but they only want to consume it in bite-sized bits. Now, I say bite-sized bits, but if you've ever spent any amount of time on TikTok, you will know there's this thing called the TikTok hole, and 15-second little clips can eat up 45 minutes of your evening really fast. And it's this rapid pace. It's part of it because of our attention span is so short. It's changing the videos so quickly. We also got to realize that the vast majority of the audience that is on TikTok is going to be that Gen Z. They're going to be the next generation. And this is another reason why vertical video should be considered for ministers and ministries. And we need to consider it. It's because that's where the next generation is at. If we can't reach the next generation where they're at, how do we expect them to get the message that God has asked us and commissioned us to deliver to them? We've got to be able to go where they're at. That's essentially the whole concept behind the Great Commission. Go where people are at and preach the good news about Jesus Christ. And so this is something that we need to start figuring out. How can we do that? How can we take the message that God has commissioned us with and use short form vertical video to really convey that message, especially when there's that generation that they're kind of dominating that space? See, that's where I think that we have this to go in. We have this avenue, we have this format, and there are ways that we can do it, but it does require us to get out of our comfort zone. And not just those of us who are doing any form of online video, everyone. Like, for those of us that have been doing any type of video or digital ministry at all in the last several years, we know that there's a generation that's much older than us, and they've been very hesitant. They've been very resistant to that change. If we have that same hesitation and same resistance to change, we can sit there and say, we're doing digital ministry, but are we really doing digital ministry if we're not trying to reach everyone we can reach? And that's why I think that we should be considering vertical video. One of the other things that this article had pointed out is that there are 15-second TV ads that are going out there. And I'm sure you've seen them out there. And it's honestly saying that those 15-second TV ads are about 75% as effective as 30% commercials, but at half the cost. And so this is an added value for a lot of them. You've also seen this on platforms like YouTube, where they have non-skippable ads. And that is a short ad. I want to say it's about 7 seconds long at the max. I think it might even be closer to 6 seconds. And these are ads that you can't really skip through. I think they do have some that are a little bit longer than that. But it's one of those that those short videos aren't enough to get people to completely leave the platform. It's something that we can consider when we think that those short form videos aren't enough that we could completely lose our audience. So it's just kind of a very interesting concept that I think is out there. There was one other aspect, and if I can pull it up here, I think it was the very last one. And here's the other aspect it's talking about when it says vertical videos, and it's actually talking about the stories format. So it's not just stuff like Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts and the TikTok app. It's talking about stories. It says the stories social media format may have been pioneered by Snapchat, but Facebook and especially Instagram have benefited from it just as much. But this goes beyond Facebook and Instagram and Snapchat. For certain creators on YouTube, they have access to stories. You now have on Twitter what they call fleets, which is their version of stories. LinkedIn has stories. And I even saw that now Pinterest is playing around with a stories type format to their platform. These type of short vertical videos, and yes, the stories can be images. They can be just a photo. It can have some music. It can have some text. But at least for me and on my Instagram feed, I see a lot of those stories really just coming from people doing a short video and just giving a thought randomly throughout their day. That is a very powerful way for us to continue to express what it is that God has placed on our heart. I think ultimately what I want us to kind of take out of the vertical video format is realizing that even like myself, where I may have kind of rejected that a couple years ago, I have to keep myself open to the possibility that there are people that prefer that format And maybe God can actually use me to help push into that format. It's something that for those that have been watching and kind of following what I'm doing online, you've seen me really press into that, especially since about February 1st. Starting in February 1st, I started uploading these daily short videos. They're all 60 seconds or less. And, there have been a couple people that have mentioned that my shorts keep getting shorter. And it's true. I've had some of them that are down under 10 seconds long. And yet what's happening is I'm able to then take that idea, that concept, that thought that God has given me in that moment, and I'm able to condense it. I'm able to really make it very powerful and very poignant in such a tight video. It's so small. And yet the thing that I'm seeing about that is it's actually allowing me to reach a much broader audience. The way that I've been doing it is simply just sharing a little thought, a little nugget, if you will, on whatever today's verse of the day is. And I've got it to correspond with the YouVersion Bible app. And so whatever their verse of the day is, that's the same verse that I'm just giving a thought on. You could even call it like a micro devotional content because it is so small. But what I've seen is in the last 30 days on TikTok alone, with a relatively small audience, I've grown that audience by, I think, 900 followers, and I've had over 40,000 video views just on that platform alone. That's not counting the fact that I'm uploading the same thing to Instagram as a reel and the same thing to YouTube as a short. There has been a lot more reach, and all it is me just saying, okay, here's a short form vertical video. Vertical video is obviously not something that is going away because that's how we view our cell phones. And cell phones are one of the biggest ways that we actually consume video content. And because of that, there is a way that vertical video can work on it. I believe that that way is in the short form, not so much the medium or long form content. And so what can you do? How can you take that message that God has placed on your heart and start sharing it in a short form vertical video format? I think that's a powerful question that we need to ask ourselves and we need to start to flush out. So what I would love you guys to be able to do is reach out to me. You can catch me on most of the social platforms at Joshua Verwers. That's JOSHUAVERWERS. Find me on Twitter. Find me on Facebook. Find me on Instagram, on YouTube, on TikTok, on LinkedIn. I'm on most of the major ones. And reach out to me and let me know what you can do to share your message in a vertical format. I'd love to hear it. Anywho, that's all we've got for this week's episode of the Digital Ministry Podcast. I want to encourage you guys, if you enjoyed this and if you found value in it, go ahead and share it with somebody that you know and do all of the other things that, us content creators ask you to do. Whatever platform you're on, love to see you there. Until next week, I want y'all to stay blessed, enjoy God's best, and have a great one. Okay, folks. So hopefully that wound up playing out well for this vertical or for this podcast recording. Now, we got time for a chit chat. I just ran off on a little bit of a monologue with all you guys. I want to get to some of the content or comments. I saw some people hopping in. I saw the one and only Jared Brown saying, "What's up, ladies and gents?" I will also take this moment to pull back up my Buy Me a Coffee link. If you guys want to support this channel, this ministry, what it is that I'm doing, buymeacoffee.com/Joshua Verwers. You can also sign up as a member over there, and I'm going to be providing some extra content to really help you share that message that God has put on your heart. So consider it, look it up. Jared, there you go. Good to see you. He's saying vertical is what I watch when I can't commit. I love it. I love it. Love it. Let's see. I want to look at some of these in here, these other comments. John Hayes, that's like saying a sermon targeting 25 minutes and you're over 45 and it's just your final point. I have no idea what that's in relation to, but I'm sure I resemble that remark at some point. John saying vertical video I watch, but I don't usually have the audio on. Yeah, I'm with you on that. Where, and I think it depends on the platform. So typically on Facebook and YouTube, I don't have the audio on. On TikTok, I do. Now, over on TikTok, there aren't a lot of videos that actually have, like descriptions or captions on it. So that's something that I would do. But Facebook, I typically don't. And I think part of the reason, honestly, is on Facebook and Instagram, they don't do a really good job of leveling the audio. And so some of the audio processing inside their platforms goes way too high or way too low. And I just hate having to rock the volume rocker back and forth to try to adjust for that. Typically, that's one of those things even on YouTube. If I've got to crank up the volume and then crank it down for the next one of y'all are likely not getting listened to anymore. It's too much work for me. Now, I understand that audio can be a bear and it's a lot to learn, but yeah, there we go. Vaughn saying, I don't like vertical content. Get off my lawn. Vaughn, you know what? I feel you. I understand. I did not like vertical for the longest time. I was not going to be a part of it. I couldn't. And then I started thinking about it a little bit more. It's like, all right, maybe I need to give it another thought. Maybe I need to check this. So, I watch vertical silent, or if I can't commit to the click. Yeah, that's definitely it. Vaughn has the answers. So, Bida Brownie saying, I take that 85% to mean that we all have commitment issues. Let me double check what that 85% was. With committing, yeah, 85% of vertical video. Probably. I would venture to say that is probably pretty accurate. The commitment issues, yeah, 85 short form watched on Facebook without the sound. Bida Brownie saying Gen Z is messing up the stats. Absolutely. Vaughn saying, I'm more interested in jumping in the video being short form than vertical. So vertical is starting to get my attention. Yeah, and I think that like a wide short form, it kind of depends on the viewing experience. See, and this is something I want to get into a little bit more and look at some of YouTube's own discovery and what they're putting out there. But for the longest time, smartphone viewing was the highest. But I also saw recently that YouTube is saying that television viewing is the fastest growing form that they have. And honestly, watching short form on a television, it depends on what we consider short form. Now, granted, I consider short form a minute or less, but I've watched some videos that are 3 minutes. The problem I have with a lot of like really short form, or maybe that's schmedium. That's what we'll call that one. The schmedium form content of like that 3 to 4 minutes, I could go either way with it. I typically wouldn't watch that in vertical format because I would feel like it's just a little bit too long. But at the same time, I wouldn't want to watch it on my television. So I would probably watch it on the phone and turn it sideways. But the longer and the medium form content, I don't want to hold my phone like this for, 8, 10, 12, 20 minutes, let alone hours of live streaming. I just, not a big fan of doing that. Let's see. Vaughn saying, there's the rub. We need to reach people where they're at. It is the rub, Vaughn, and that's where I kind of went in on this and thinking, I don't want to like cut people off. I don't want to sit there and say I'm trying to reach these people, but then all of a sudden I don't want to reach them because I don't like where they're at. Now, there's a certain point where I think we have to realize where God has called us to. And I don't believe God's called every one of us to go to every single place out there. But I do believe that we're called to go to our Jerusalem, Judea, Samaria, and then the uttermost. And I think because of that, where we can go and we can start to expand that reach, I started looking at it as, okay, my Jerusalem is really like my local church and being where they're at. The Judea, the Samaria, it's not just the aspect of the surrounding community and then going outside of the whole state or to the rest of the world. It's looking at the digital aspect of it too. So my Jerusalem would be, what platform am I currently on? The Judea, the Samaria, the uttermost. Okay, what platforms are there out there that are attached, that are kind of close? So if I'm primarily on Facebook, it's kind of an easy pivot to go over to Instagram. However, when I start to go to, say, YouTube, it's a little bit more of a stretch. And then all of a sudden, when you go to like TikTok, it's like, man, this is a foreign country. But I look at it that aspect. Can I go to that place and still deliver the message that God has called me to deliver? And that's where I was looking at it. And yeah, I mean, when my goal for my own YouTube channel is to encourage people to live by faith, and then secondary to encourage others to share that faith. For me, if I'm encouraging them to live by faith, it's easy for me to do that over on TikTok. And so I can do that. I could even start to encourage them to share their faith that way as well. So it is. It's just kind of one of those that we need to reach them right where they're at. So why not try it? All right. John saying, video seems difficult on something other than YouTube or TikTok, though. Let me read this again. Video seems difficult on something other than YouTube or TikTok, though, since stuff like Facebook likes to keep you scrolling. Yeah, so Facebook does like to keep you scrolling. TikTok likes to keep you scrolling too. And honestly, YouTube does as well. Honestly, here's the thing that they're trying to do. It's not even about the scrolling. They just want to keep you on the platform. And they want to keep you on the platform longer. Now, there is a lot of Christians already on TikTok, and you've seen them on Instagram, you've seen them on Facebook, you've seen them on every platform, because there are just a lot of Christians in the world. There are a lot of them in all of those areas. And so because there's already a lot of people out there, if we're providing that content that they're kind of looking for and they're hungry for, but there's not enough of it out there, well, that's when all of a sudden those platforms are like, this audience wants your content. I'm going to feed your content to them. YouTube becomes one of those that I think sometimes the algorithms, and I say algorithms because it's not a single algorithm. I honestly wonder if algorithm's even the right word. It's more like an AI where it's constantly learning and evolving, but there are a lot of different components to it. And so what I've seen is that, like with my shorts, there are people on YouTube that they primarily like that content. And so what YouTube does is it keeps feeding them that content. And then there are others that are like, I didn't realize you were even uploading a short every single day. But they see the others. And I think that's where YouTube is really kind of advanced in their algorithms approach. And they've figured out where people are at and what they're looking for. I think TikTok does the same thing. You know, I hear a lot of people on TikTok and they get frustrated because they're like, well, over there on TikTok, the problem is that all I see is, you know, scantily clad people just dancing and shaking their bodies. You know what? I don't see that. Like, very rarely does that come across my feed. And it's probably because when it came across early on, I was quick to swipe past it. I didn't want it. TikTok figured out, oh, he doesn't want to see this stuff. Let's stop sharing that stuff with him, because the first couple times I logged on, yeah, I saw a lot of that. And then I just backed out of the app. But as soon as they started giving me some Christian content, all of a sudden I'm there. As soon as they start giving me like funny and cute animals, I'm there. And they see me being on the platform a lot longer, so they start feeding me more of that. I'm seeing a lot of people really buying into the content that I'm creating. And it's obviously going to be because that's the type of content that they want. And of course, they do push it out to people that don't necessarily want that content, which is always funny to me when you get the haters and the trolls or the atheists that they're like, I wish this stuff would stop appearing in my feed. And my first reaction is like, stop watching it. Stop commenting on it. If you did, they would stop showing it to you. I mean, that's why they have this thing they call the For You page. These are the videos we have determined are for you because it's the type of videos you watch the most of. So, I don't know. Okay, John, the comment was with you saying that you were shooting for 15 minutes and you think I got it under 18. I have a tendency to ramble a little bit. I want to keep it kind of short and concise. I want to be able to provide that value. Plus, when it comes to a live stream like this, I want to be able to go back through and really kind of chapter this up and let people know, hey, I'm talking about this, I'm talking about that, I'm talking about that, so they can kind of skip around and jump forward with it. So that's always good. Carlos saying, yo, Carlos, glad you could hop in here and join with us. Bada Brownie saying, gotta roll, guys. See y'all next time. See you later. By the way, anybody got any questions, comments, observations, let me know. We're going to be taking them for a little bit longer here. Just kind of wrap this up. I kind of want to go no more than 15 more minutes. So if you've got some stuff, let me know. Honestly, I just want to keep these kind of as short and direct and to the point as possible. But if you guys are there and you got questions, I'll stick around with you. Let's see. We watch on YouTube on our TV quite a bit anymore. Yeah, that's, I've got YouTube TV, so that's my primary viewing source. And then secondarily, it's just YouTube itself. Watch a lot of it. I would say it probably is my primary device that I'm watching on, followed by the phone. And that's usually if I'm on the go and wanting to take it with me. Vaughn saying later, bye to Brownie. Dennis, the foreign land of TikTok. You know, hey, for me and my age, I mean, it seems like a foreign land. I didn't get it. I didn't understand it. I'm too old to have ever participated with Vine, so apparently I don't understand it, but I'm learning. And part of it is learning what others are doing, but then just learning what does the platform want and what can I bring in that fashion. And that may be even more direct of what I'm trying to do with it. So, let's see, we got some others here. John saying, I must not use YouTube right. I open it up and go to my subscriptions. It works, I suppose. It's an easy way to make sure that you know where you're going. And just, hey, I want this stuff. I typically will just open up the YouTube app and kind of do the same where there's certain things that I'm wanting to look at and I'll find them. But at the same time, I've got notifications turned on for a few and those will often pop up. But like on my TV, I'm often using like a guest account that's not even logged in or some other email address. Like I've got a separate one for the bedroom and for the living room. And don't ask me why I do that, but each of them have their own, what do I want to say? What's that word? It's like a specific cultivated type of a feed just for those. So late night television viewing on YouTube, my bedroom TV knows that I want to watch Fail Army. So that's what they give me. Living room TV never does. So, saying I had to delete TikTok. I found that black hole you were referring to and had to balance my time better. Yeah. I try to not spend too much time on it. But it's very easy to go down that rabbit hole really fast. Dennis, exactly. Don't tell the people you don't want to watch that you don't want to watch them. Exactly. Yeah. Like, just stop watching. How hard is that? I don't think it's that hard. So, Vaughn saying, I'm still learning YouTube and not sure I have the capacity to learn another platform or content strategy. However, I don't want to miss the wave. Yeah, Vaughn, we need to chat and we need to connect about this. I understand where you're at in regards to that, and yes, and amen to all of that. Still learning YouTube. Do I have the capacity to learn another platform or content strategy? No, or you may not want to. I think that YouTube should be the primary platform that people are engaging with. A couple different reasons. When it comes to video, like online video in and of itself, we can talk about vertical video, but video is dominant. Like, video is the most important medium out there right now. And when it comes to video, YouTube is king. YouTube dominates that space, not only in just providing the video, but the fact that YouTube is the second largest website that is used, like right behind Google. And it's the second largest search engine right behind Google. That alone is like, people should be on there, and they really should, especially those of us in ministry. And what YouTube does, because they've got that search engine capability of it and the discoverability, like I've got videos that I created a year or two ago that are still getting views. People are still looking for certain terms, and they just keep coming back around. They keep coming back around. So YouTube has the capacity to really have that evergreen type of content. On TikTok, and I saw this recently, I need to start capturing these websites and these articles that I find. But it was somewhere on TikTok that they had mentioned that the lifespan of a video is like 90 days. And so YouTube's all about, or not YouTube, TikTok is all about, we're going to try to capitalize on this video right now. And then after 90 days, its lifespan is pretty much non-existent. So that's where with TikTok, it's keep feeding the beast, constantly feeding it. YouTube, on the other hand, you could create a strategy where you make stuff and then you don't. And I know there are a lot of like teaching type channels that will do that. They'll make short little series, maybe, like different Bible books that they're breaking down, and they'll do it in like seasonal format. So they'll drop one a year, and it may be 5 or 10 episodes, and that's all they do. And YouTube is the perfect platform for that because it does keep bringing back that evergreen. Now, as far as not wanting to miss the wave, I would say because of YouTube really trying to lean into the shorts and that short form vertical format, I think there is a chance that we could be missing the wave. And it's a likelihood. I think it's something that really could happen. YouTube sees it as being another format, and they want to put that out there. I think it's something that we should be considering and doing that. My recommendation, I think the first and the easiest way of doing that is even taking some of the current videos that we have and what can we do, or how can we chop this up? So maybe it's even like, a Sunday message that we're preaching at our church. If you can find like a 60-second or less clip where you're just kind of bringing some fire, it's that maybe that sticky statement or that main point that you're trying to drive home, something that people could hear it out of context of the rest of the message and still get a lot of value out of it. That may be something to try to extract that, throw some captioning on, maybe a little bit of branding, and put it in a vertical fashion. It's an easy way to kind of repurpose some of that content that we're already making. But as far as making something separate and something unique and trying to learn that can be tricky. I also want to put this out there, Vaughn, that I think when it comes to the overall ministry strategy and a digital ministry strategy, I like to take the approach of kind of Moses in the Exodus. We should start where we're at, use what we've got, and do what we can. And once we've reached that point, then go where you're not and do what you can't. And so we see how Moses kind of did that. He started exactly where he was and doing what he can to help free the people from, Pharaoh. But then all of a sudden, Now we're going to go to a place that we've never been. We're heading towards that promised land. And I think there's a principle inside there of just starting where we're at, what we've got, doing what we can, and then going where we can't. And sometimes, like Moses, when we start to go where we can't and where we haven't been and to do what we can't, we need an Aaron and a Hur to kind of come in and help us. And sometimes that's another approach. As I'm starting to scale up some of my production, having my son really try to help out with some of the video editing. He's done some of the short video editing that I've done. And this week we're going to get back into recording online only type messages for our church. And I'm going to let him try to edit those. Other people, they've kind of got to do that. I know that there are other YouTubers that they do that where they start to scale up and it's like, I've reached my limit. I can't do anymore. I need to start having others do it. So that might be something to kind of just consider and really, first and foremost, pray about it and just say, hey, is this something that I should be doing? Is it something I can be doing? So that'd be my recommendation. John says you can track what your kids are watching that way with different logins. Yeah, I can. And like the living room, we've got those, so we know what's going on as well. People want to know how to make a profile video. That stinking Facebook profile video, and that video on my YouTube channel, it's got the most. It's taken off, it's skyrocketing, and it has like the worst watch time and the worst view duration. I think it's at 10% view duration or something. It's just kind of ridiculous, but maybe I should do another version of that. A condensed, maybe I need to make a short about that. Says, I'm thinking about taking some nuggets that people were engaging with during the sermon and just recording a video on that portion, since we're not video recording the sermons right now. I think that is an excellent approach. I really think it is. And maybe even if you're not recording during those, just after the fact, especially after you're done preaching, while it's kind of fresh on your mind, man, I think that could be a powerful thing to really just kind of capitalize on those. And I'm all about giving all of the information and all the encouragement we can to those people, anybody that's out there online, just trying to bring them extra value and help them out. So that's what I would say. Great idea. Great avenue to go down. Well, I suppose that kind of wraps up all of the comments. That kind of brings this whole stream with my nice little, starting soon pre-show countdown. Brings us right about an hour. Love y'all. So glad that you were here. So glad that you could join me. We'll probably do this again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, 12 noon Central Standard, right here on whatever platform you caught me. Till then, you know what to do. Stay blessed. Enjoy God's best.